morning, and thank you for joining us here on Halton News, right here on your TV. It's Friday, November 13th, and I'm Jessica Kading. The provincial government has made the decision today to impose more stringent control measures here in Halton. More on what that means ahead. But first, let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers being reported here today in our region. 57 new cases have been confirmed in our region since yesterday. Taking the recoveries into account, that puts our new total number of active cases in the region at 486. 92 of those cases are in Burlington, 235 in Oakville, 134 in Milton, and 25 in Halton Hills. In Halton Hills, all but 3 of those cases are tied to outbreaks at Amica Georgetown Retirement Home, and 2 patients are currently being treated in Georgetown Hospital CTC unit. The outbreak at Village of Tansley Woods in Burlington continues, and there are 4 outbreaks in Oakville at Chartwell Waterford, Post Inn Village, Trafalgar Lodge, and Wyndham Manor. We were able to ask why Halton is being put from yellow straight into the red zone.
So with our new numbers, Halton, when we were discussing with them before, we're already moving into the orange zone, well in there. And we look at those different metrics and measure and discussion with their medical officer of health. With the new level that used to be in the orange zone dropped down for the red zone to greater than equal to 40 and the positivity rates, that means Halton numbers are clearly in that zone there. So that's why all the zones have changed in their thresholds to bring them down to initiate actions even sooner in that light. And so some of that were in other zones before are being notified, and we had a conversation with them already that they're now shifting to the new zones in the adjusted framework.
We also asked why they were not prepared to put Halton or the rest of Ontario in the gray zone, full lockdown.
We're looking at the issues. You're correct, as we have the red zone, and on our framework, when you see the documents, there is to the right of that the gray lockdown zone. The question is, when would one do a lockdown? What would the lockdown consist of? Does it consist of closing certain aspects, all aspects? Does it include closing schools, yes or no? What do you do with long-term care visitation? We have these balances to make there because there's other consequences of the lockdown that you have to deal with. So we will want to make sure that advice comes from the public health measures table to mine, to the minister and premier, because I think as the premier would say, that would not be a light decision at all. It's one that has to be taken and weighed out, because while you lock down some aspects, you lock down other services and provisions at the same time, and you want to make sure there's the right balance. So therefore, we're taking our issues to the public health measures table, and then we'll bring back recommendations to the minister and to the premier next week.
When I get the green light and Dr. Williams says the tables come back and they want a lockdown, I will lock down quicker than you can blink your eyes, because my number one priority is to protect lives, protect the safety of every single person in Ontario.
In Halton Hills, the public library has launched an important exhibit about an important figure in Georgetown.
I've had a great experience out here. I've met some of the greatest people that I ever met in my life. And your country looks grand to me. I can't say whether I'm going to come up here to stay and live here. But I'll tell you this, I love the country and I like everyone that's in it.
What you heard is an audio clip of Henry Thomas Shepherd during a trip to Western Canada in the late 1950s. For many Georgetown residents, that voice is certainly familiar for being one of the most prolific men in that community. And for those who don't know Henry Shepherd, you can learn more in a virtual exhibit. The Halton Hills Public Library, with the help of his family, put this exhibit together. Shepherd's granddaughter, Jacqueline Wooten, says it's a detailed outline of his life.
It has all the facts of when my great-grandfather arrived in Canada, how he arrived in Canada, and then it goes on to tell us a brief story about his children, specifically my grandfather, Henry Thomas Shepherd. It touches on the community life that my grandfather had in Georgetown.
And what a life he had, being born in 1895 into a diverse family, which Wooten says was certainly unique at the time.
His mother was white and his father was black. So you can imagine in those times things were a little difficult, not only for a person of color, but in an interracial marriage. But he overcame all those obstacles. He never let it slow him down. It wasn't woe is me. He went forward and he became very successful. He contributed to his community and his country.
Successful in many ways, from serving in both world wars to working for the fire department.
He was one of the first black regimental sergeant majors in Canada. And in saying that, he was very respected by his peers, and it furthered his military career to train out of the Newmarket branch for all of the troops that were going off to World War II. He was the fire chief of Georgetown. He led the parade, the Remembrance Day parade, every year. He was one of the founders of the Georgetown Legion, Branch 120. And along with my grandmother, she was one of the founders of the Ladies Auxiliary.
This exhibit means a lot to Wooten and the rest of her family, so much so that it moves her to tears.
The fact that we're so proud of him and the hard work that my cousin and her husband have put through to get this recognized and out into the community for future generations. It's very important that this is a learning tool and that anything is possible for any young child, that they look at his story and the times that he grew up in and the diversities that he had to overcome. It has really made a difference for the younger generation to see this. It's a positive.
To dive deeper into this exhibit and the life of Henry Thomas Shepard, you can go to the Research and Support tab at the Halton Hills Public Library's website, select Local History, and click on Halton Hills Images. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Melissa Candelaria.
Last night, a local Oakville resident debuted her documentary on the big screen in Hamilton.
Michelle Andrea Giroux is a filmmaker and video journalist from Oakville.
I wanted to become a filmmaker because I didn't like what I was seeing on TV as a little girl. I felt like a lot of advertisement and TV shows just weren't relatable to me, and I wanted to change that.
She just debuted her first documentary, Running Home. The project started with a new acquaintance, Inma, asking if Giroux would make a souvenir video of her experience running a marathon in Algeria after discovering her biological mother was from that region.
So when Inma approached me to make the film, it was kind of one of those rare moments in life where I immediately said yes and just knew right away that I had to go. And then logically I was like, okay, maybe I should take a step back and see if I'm agreeing to go halfway across the world with someone that I had just met and don't know about anything of that region.
As the journey unfolded, Giroux witnessed a very personal transformation in Inma's life, and the project began to evolve.
Think about it, it's like the first time that she's confronting head-on her adoption and learning about her biological mom, and inviting me into the story is incredibly intimate and personal. And as a filmmaker, to try to step back and try not to insert myself, but just listen and be calm and
Can you forget the cameras here and say something? Nothing has ever felt like home, but these couple of days was the closest thing that I ever felt. I want this trip to be over. I don't want it to get any worse than this.
I did originally think that it would be just a 10-minute clip, but as the story unfolded, there are so many layers to the film. She's talking about adoption, she's talking about race, being the only Black person in her white dominant town. It's about a marathon, overcoming physicality. It's about the fight for independence by the Western Sahara people. It's about colonization. It's about the African diaspora and people being separated from their families because of colonization. Like, there's just so many layers, and yeah, and it's about belonging and like so many things that different people can relate to. Over time, the content spoke for itself, and it went from 10 minutes to 30 minutes.
Through filming, she discovered she could identify with Inma's difficulties.
Seeing her going through the struggle of, not belonging in Spain or not belonging in this new community because of her gender or whatever, like that could change over time, who knows? And like as her definition changes, maybe that'll change, but it's so personal to me because I feel that too, and I think everybody feels that, where they want to belong and fit somewhere, and it's such a difficult concept for us as people to grasp and feel that. So yeah, like when she was going through that, I felt it too. It was like she was speaking to me almost.
While many film festivals have been canceled this year, she's pleased to be part of Kono Fest that is launching soon. Reporting for Halton News, I'm Nikki Wesley.
As mentioned earlier, Halton is entering the red zone along with Hamilton, Peel, Toronto, and York. Christine Elliott says that those living in the red zone should only leave home for essential purposes. In Toronto, the red zone begins tomorrow morning at 12:01 a.m. Here in Halton, it begins on Monday at 12:01 a.m. For a full list of the rules coming into effect as we head back into a modified stage 2, visit ontario.ca. For a quick overview, I can confirm that the gathering limits for organized public events and social gatherings remains 10 people indoors and 25 outdoors. Unless it's a religious service, wedding, or funeral, they are allowed to have 30% occupancy indoors or 100 people outdoors. Restaurants will only be permitted to host 10 patrons indoors, with dancing and singing prohibited. Liquor can only be sold until 9 p.m. and all strip clubs are ordered to close. Gyms, fitness, and recreation centers can only accommodate 10 people for indoor classes, and team sports are canceled except for training. As for personal care, any services that require removal of a mask are prohibited, and all performing arts facilities have been ordered to close to spectators. This updated information will also be posted on halton.ca in the days to come. Moving on to more positive news now, National Philanthropy Day is approaching this Sunday, and the Burlington Foundation is excited to announce that they are granting $82,500 in grants to arts, heritage, and environmental charities in Burlington. This includes Art House for Children and Youth, the Burlington Performing Arts Centre, and the Southern Ontario Lyric Opera. Joseph Brent Museum and Burlington Green are also being granted, to name a few. This is Phase 3 of the Burlington Foundation's COVID-19 Pandemic Response Fund. For more information, please visit burlingtonfoundation.org. We do need to take a short break now, but we'll be right back with a local psychiatrist with some tips on how to self-soothe and to help your partner. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Halton News. Dr. Ashik Bhattacharya is a local psychiatrist who's been sending us helpful tips and advice since the beginning of the pandemic to help us get through these stressful and unprecedented times. Today, he talks to us about soothing methods, both good and bad.
Hi, this is Dr. Ashik Bhattacharya speaking to you from the Empathy Clinic today in Oakville. Today I want to talk about soothing. Soothing is something hopefully we learn as a child. When we're feeling distressed or anxious, hopefully our parents can soothe us. There's two types of soothing though. There's soothing when you're in pain, like if you have a nasty cough and you need to take something to get rid of it. The other type of soothing is if you want comfort. And that means that you might find some nice hand cream and put it on your partner's hands, rub it in there, and that person will be comforted and soothed. So soothing requires empathy and compassion. Find out what soothes you. Also find out what soothes your partner. Make a list. Soothing can bond you with your partner as well. And it soothes while yourself. It can also soothe the other person. There are soothing habits that people have sometimes that are not helpful. They're negative soothing. I'm talking about maybe too much alcohol, smoking, drugs, and other behaviors that we can get ourselves into trouble with. But what about good soothing? What about the soothing that causes a positive outcome for everyone involved? Soothing can be just as infectious as many negative emotions as well. It requires patience because soothing sometimes doesn't work right away. Just like that child at a party that no one can soothe except some guy in the corner who's shaking the baby successfully that way. All the girls want to marry him, of course. So soothing also happens with self, where you can learn how to self-soothe. That takes practice. So soothing is a great word. Spread it around. Take care. See you next time. Hi, this is Dr. Ashik Bhattacharya speaking to you from the
And here's a look down Dundas in Oakville as we head to our 5-day weather outlook here for the Halton region. Taking a look now, you can see that Saturday is the most pleasant day in our 5-day forecast, depending on your preferences, of course, but we do have a mix of sun and cloud on Saturday and a high of 7 degrees. We are getting back into more seasonable cool temperatures. On Sunday, we are expecting cloud cover and rainfall reaching 9 in the afternoon, cooling down to only 1 degree above zero overnight. And then Monday, more rainfall expected. That's a 60% chance. Expect there to be showers in the afternoon. And then Tuesday, yes, that is looking like flurries. So please do be prepared for that. And then cloudy skies on Wednesday. The MILTON Chamber of Commerce is inviting young professionals to grab your drink of choice and join them for a virtual cheers on Wednesday, November 18th. Join with like-minded professionals from 3:30 to 4:30 in the afternoon. Connect, relate, and enjoy. For more information, go to miltonchamber.ca, and that is where you can register. The Burlington Chamber of Commerce invites you to their third Eye on the Economy event featuring subject matter experts from SB Partners and SB Advisory, providing practical information on how to identify risks and develop mitigation strategies to succeed in a post-pandemic world. This virtual event is coming up on November 19th at 8:30 a.m. and it does require pre-registration. You can do so at burlingtonchamber.com. Barter Pay is partnering with businesses in the greater Hamilton and Halton area to issue barter credit grants to help them recover from COVID-19. A total of $2 million in barter credits will be handed out to local businesses. To learn more and get started, you can visit grant.barterpay.ca. And now we'll look to how some of Halton's top companies performed on the markets today. We'll be right back with the Executive Director of the Burlington Food Bank for more on what's happening there. Stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome back to Halton News right here on your TV. It's Friday, November 13th, and I'm Jessica Kading. And up now we have Robin Bailey, the Executive Director of the Burlington Food Bank.
I'm here with William and his older brother Ben. He wants you to wave to them. There you go. It's William's birthday was last week, and for his birthday he actually asked for money for them to be able to do something for the food bank. William, what was that?
To give food to him.
And what kind of food did you want to do?
My favorite foods.
So what are some of your favorite foods?
Kraft dinner, spaghetti, tuna.
I saw some apples. What else did you get in there?
Milk, eggs.
Those are all great things, and I think that that's what we wanted to let people know is that if you're wondering what kind of food to donate to the food bank, William got it. Everything that you like, that's what our clients like, so make sure that you're doing that. And then the other thing our driver said today was when he was on the road, one of the things that he likes the most is when kids have done food drives for him, because he knows they put in all kinds of effort, or when they do this, where you actually went out, took the time to shop, and so we thank you so much, William, and Ben, and your whole family for helping out. All right?
Okay.
Thanks again, and thanks to everyone out there who continues to support us here at the Burlington Food Bank.
If you are in need or you know someone in Burlington who could use the help of the Burlington Food Bank, you can email info@burlingtonfoodbank.ca or call 905-637-2273 to make arrangements. They can have food dropped off at their door or make arrangements to pick it up. They do have a curbside pickup option. There are other food banks in our communities that need your support as well, including 3 in Oakville, the Fair Share Food Bank, Kerr Street Mission, and the Salvation Army. Please visit their respective websites to see what items they are in greatest need of during this time. The Aldershot Village BIA will host the village tree lighting tomorrow, Saturday, November 14th. The tree will be lit at dusk, and there will be a drive-through food drive for the Compassion Society of Halton. Santa will take those donations directly from your car. For more information, please visit aldershotbia.com. The Ontario Provincial Police Canine Unit is dedicated to community safety. Even with the COVID-19 pandemic affecting training, the OPP Canine Unit duties have not changed. The OPP dogs have managed, in addition to search and rescue missions, tracking wanted people, detecting narcotics, and searching for firearms, explosives, and physical evidence, well, they've found time to strike a pose for charity, and now their 5th annual canine calendar is ready for purchase. All proceeds from the 2021 calendar will go to support the OPP Youth Foundation and Friends of the OPP Museum. To purchase your calendar for $10, you can visit oppshop.on.ca, where you'll also find a variety of other items for sale there. I'd like to take this opportunity now to thank you for tuning in to Halton News right here on your TV. We will be back with another live edition Monday night at 5. Until then, Melissa Candelaria will be in with our weekend edition, and I invite you to connect with us on social media as well. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at YourTVHalton. You can also connect with us via email at haltonnews@cogeco.com. Please feel free to send us any comments, questions, or story ideas. And if you'd like to see more content, you can visit us online by going to yourtv.tv. We do have archived shows on there as well as our featured stories. For Halton News, I'm Jessica Kading, and I thank you for watching.